Hi everyone, my name is Avram K. and you're watching Alfei Panim Parshas by 2025. This week we have some dramatic occurrences. We have the last of the Makos, and we have a particularly dramatic moment by Makas Choshech, the plague of darkness. It says, Ish es achiv, like kamu ish mitachtav shloishes yamim, that people could not see each other and they couldn't move for 3 days. And in the place where the Jews were, there was light. This was truly an amazing, miraculous event. The Egyptians experienced paralyzing darkness while the Bnei Yisrael had abundant light. The Chassam Sofer poses an intriguing question. Why did Hashem choose to perform this miracle specifically in this way? There was another story way back in Parshas Vayera that also talked about Hashem depriving a group of their ability to see. When Lot was visited by angels in Sodom, the Torah tells us that there was a mob of angry Sodom residents who wanted to take Lot's guests, meaning the angels, by force. In that story, this mob was miraculously stricken with blindness. In other words, their eyes stopped working. This is in contrast to this week's parsha, in which Hashem didn't keep their eyes from working. He made it dark. He turned out the lights for them. But the Chassam Sofer asks that incident by Lot sort of set a precedent in the Torah. One would think that if a situation ever arose again in which Hashem wanted to keep someone from seeing, he would do the same thing he did by Lot. He would strike them with physical blindness. Their eyes would cease to function. Why then, in Mitzrayim, does Hashem create this altogether new miracle of Choshech, this paralyzing, overpowering darkness, when striking them blind, turning off their eyesight would have accomplished the same thing? The Chassam Sofer answers that there's a fundamental difference between blinding someone by causing their eyes not to function and blinding them by removing the light. And through recognizing this difference, we can learn a very profound lesson. People whose eyes don't function use their other senses to make up for their lack of sight. Indeed, those other senses often become far keener and sharper than those of people with normal, healthy vision. Compare that to a person with normal sight sitting in a dark room. He will pour more and more attention and effort into his eyes in order to try and see. His other senses will actually become weaker as he devotes more and more energy to his eyes. This, says the Chassam Sofer, is what the Gemara means when it says, Va'amar Rav Nasan bar Abba Amar Rav kol mitzapa al shulchan acherim olam choshech ba'adai. This is a Gemara in Beya, and it says Rav Nasan bar Abba said in the name of Rav, he who is dependent on another's table, the world is dark to him. So just to paraphrase and explain that, it means when a person is completely supported, completely dependent on someone else, the Chassam Sofer says one might think that would allow him the freedom to advance in other areas, secure in the knowledge that his basic needs are provided for. However, just the opposite is often the case. He often becomes completely involved in maintaining that one relationship and securing that one source of parnasa, of sustenance, focusing more and more energy into it to the exclusion of everything else. Indeed, the rest of the world becomes dark to him, causing him to lose out in countless other areas and missing untold opportunities. Another way of looking at it, says the Chassam Sofer, is to consider the following Gemara in Yuma. Eino daima misha raya va'eichel v'misha eino raya va'eichel. Amar Rav Yosef, mikan remez l'sumin sha'eichun ve'ein tzveya. You cannot compare one who sees what he eats with one who does not see what he is eating. Rav Yosef said this is an allusion to the reason why people who are blind will often eat on and on without becoming satisfied. If they can't see what they're eating, it doesn't fill them up. It doesn't satisfy them. Lack of sight means lacking a fundamental means of experiencing the world around us. When we become blind, meaning to say focus too much on one relationship or one connection, we miss all else that the world has to offer, and even the experiences we do have are often incomplete. This is a very powerful idea. It's one that affected me personally in many ways, and it's something that we all should think about in our own lives. Have a wonderful Shabbos. I'm Avram K., and you're watching Alfei Panim.